All gone, Patricia announced with a triumphant smile, swiveling my office chair to face me as I stood frozen in the doorway. 15 years of your so-called research, deleted with just a few clicks. Now you can focus on being a proper wife to my son. My name is Olivia Parker, and at 35, I watched my mother-in-law destroy what she thought was my life's work in molecular oncology research. The cruel satisfaction in her eyes made my stomach turn, but I kept my expression neutral. Why? I asked quietly, my hands steady despite the rage building inside me. That research could help thousands of cancer patients. Patricia scoffed, standing up from my chair with the same aristocratic grace she wielded like a weapon since the day I married her son, Michael. Help people. Please, you're just hiding in this home office, playing with your little computer models while my son needs a real wife. Someone who can give him children, host dinner parties, be there when he comes home. I glanced at my computer screen, now wiped clean of the molecular simulation models I'd spent years developing. Models that could revolutionize targeted cancer therapy, potentially saving countless lives. Patricia had no idea that her action would trigger something far bigger than her petty attempt to control me. Michael supports my work, I said calmly, watching her perfectly manicured hand rest possessively on my desk. He understands its importance. Michael is too kind to tell you the truth, she sneered. He married a doctor, not a hermit who spends more time with computer models than her own husband. I'm doing you both a favor. The irony of her words almost made me laugh. My research wasn't just about finding new cancer treatments, it was personal. I'd watched my own mother fade away from breast cancer when I was 16, helpless as traditional treatments failed her. That loss drove me to dedicate my life to finding better solutions, more targeted therapies that could save others from the same fate. I've taken care of everything else too, Patricia continued, picking up her designer handbag. All your external drives, cloud accounts, everything. It's time you accept your real role in this family. I sat down at my desk, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. You access my private accounts. Obviously, she rolled her eyes. Your passwords weren't that difficult to figure out. Really, darling, using your wedding date? Amateur. What Patricia didn't know was that those weren't my real research accounts. After years of dealing with her interference in every aspect of my life, I'd learned to be prepared. The data she deleted was a decoy. Carefully crafted duplicates of my actual research files maintained specifically for this kind of situation. You're right about one thing, I said, looking up at her. I should have been more careful with my passwords. She mistook my calm for defeat. Finally, you're seeing reason. Now, I've arranged for you to join the hospital's charity committee. Much more suitable for a doctor's wife than this endless research. My phone buzzed, a notification from my real backup system confirming that all attempts to access the secure servers had been logged and reported. Every keystroke, every deleted file, every attempted breach was documented. Patricia had just handed me exactly what I needed. I should thank you, I said, standing up. Her satisfaction faltered at my steady tone. Thank me? For what? For proving exactly what I've been telling Michael for years about you. About your need to control everything, your complete disregard for boundaries, your willingness to destroy anything that doesn't fit your narrow view of what your son's life should be. Her face darkened. How dare you? After everything I've done for this family. Everything you've done. I interrupted, pulling up the security logs on my phone. You mean like trying to access private research servers? Attempting to delete confidential medical data? Those are federal crimes, Patricia. The color drained from her face. You're bluffing. It's all gone. I made sure of it. I smiled, thinking of my real research, safely stored on secure servers at the Institute, protected by security measures far beyond Patricia's comprehension. Did you really think I'd keep 15 years of critical medical research with passwords as simple as my wedding date? I don't believe you, she said, but her voice wavered. You're just trying to save face. My phone buzzed again, this time a call from Dr. John at the Research Institute. Excuse me, I said, answering the call. Yes, doctor? The latest simulation results? That's fantastic news. Patricia's expression shifted from confusion to dawning horror as I discussed the very research she thought she'd destroyed. When I hung up, she was gripping her handbag so tightly her knuckles were white. How? She demanded. I deleted everything. No, Patricia. You deleted decoy files I created specifically for people like you. People who think they have the right to control others, to destroy what they don't understand. I turned my computer screen toward her, showing the login page for the Institute's secure server. My real research has always been safe. What hasn't been safe is your access to this house, to my private space, to my life. You set me up, she whispered. No, you set yourself up. I just made sure I had proof when you finally crossed the line. I heard the front door open, Michael coming home from his hospital shift. Perfect timing. I think we should all have a talk about boundaries, don't you? Patricia's face contorted with rage, but before she could speak, Michael appeared in the doorway. One look at his mother's face, my calm demeanor, and the computer screen told him something was very wrong. What's going on? He asked, his eyes moving between us. I held up my phone, the security logs clearly displayed. Your mother decided to take matters into her own hands regarding my research. I think you should see exactly what she tried to do. As I pulled up the evidence of Patricia's actions, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. For years, I'd endured her subtle undermining, her constant criticism, her attempts to mold me into her idea of a proper wife. Now finally, everything was out in the open. The look on Michael's face as he read through the logs told me everything I needed to know. Patricia's carefully constructed world of manipulation was about to crumble, and my research, my real research, was safer than ever. My phone buzzed one more time, another notification from the Institute. The latest trial results were in, and they were better than we'd hoped. Sometimes the best revenge isn't confrontation or anger. It's simply proving them wrong in every possible way. The aftermath of Patricia's attempted sabotage unfolded like a carefully choreographed dance. Michael stood in my office, still scrolling through the security logs, his doctor's hands trembling slightly as he processed the extent of his mother's actions. Mom, he said finally, his voice carrying that quiet disappointment that I knew would cut Patricia deeper than any anger could. You tried to destroy Olivia's cancer research that could save lives. Patricia's perfectly composed facade cracked. I was trying to save your marriage. She spends all her time with these computers, these models. When was the last time she acted like a proper wife? I watched Michael's expression shift from disappointment to something harder. A proper wife? Like the society wives you parade around at your charity events? The ones who measure their worth by the size of their dinner parties? Those women understand their responsibilities to their families, Patricia shot back. They're there for their husbands, not hiding away playing scientist. Playing scientist? I couldn't help but laugh. Should I show you the grant proposals, the trial results, the lives we've already saved with our preliminary findings? Before Patricia could respond, my phone rang again. This time, it was Dr. Anderson, head of the oncology department at Memorial Hospital. I put it on speaker deliberately. Dr. Parker, your latest trial results are remarkable. His excited voice filled the room. The targeting mechanism you've developed could revolutionize how we treat aggressive breast cancers. When can you present to the board? I met Patricia's eyes as I responded. I'll send you the full data package tomorrow, doctor. We're seeing an 82% reduction in tumor size with minimal impact on healthy tissue. After I hung up, the silence in the room was deafening. Michael broke it first. 82%, Liv? Why didn't you tell me it was going so well? I was waiting for the final confirmation, I said softly. I didn't want to get hopes up until we were sure. Patricia stood there, her perfectly coiffed hair and designer outfit suddenly seeming like armor that was cracking. This doesn't change anything, she insisted, but her voice lacked its usual conviction. Family should come first. Family does come first, Michael said, moving to stand beside me. And Olivia's research is about family. Or did you forget how we met? I closed my eyes, remembering that day in the hospital 5 years ago. I was presenting my early research findings to the oncology department, and Michael, then a new surgical resident, had stayed after to ask questions. His sister had died of breast cancer the year before, the same type my research targeted. We connected over shared loss and shared purpose. That's different, Patricia protested. You're a real doctor, Michael. You save lives in the operating room, not playing with computer models. Those computer models, Michael's voice was tight with anger, have just shown better results than any current treatment protocol. Do you know what that means? It means fewer mothers losing their daughters, fewer children growing up without mothers. Like me, I added quietly, like Sarah. Michael's sister's name hung in the air like a physical presence. Patricia flinched. She started, but for once she seemed at a loss for words. I think you should leave, Michael said firmly, and I want your key to our house. You've lost the right to unrestricted access. You can't be serious. I'm your mother. Yes, and you just tried to destroy research that could save lives because it didn't fit your idea of what a wife should be. Being my mother doesn't give you the right to sabotage my wife's work or our marriage. Patricia's face crumpled, not in genuine remorse but in the realization that she finally pushed too far. She fumbled in her bag, pulled out her house key, and placed it on my desk with shaking hands. You'll regret this, she said, but the threat in her voice sounded hollow. Both of you. After she left, Michael turned to me. Why didn't you tell me you suspected she might try something like this? I sighed, pulling up the real research data on my secure server. Would you have believed me? She's always been so careful to maintain plausible deniability to make me look oversensitive or paranoid when I raised concerns. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I knew meant he was processing difficult truths. I should have seen it. All those little comments, the constant criticism disguised as concern. Hey, I touched his arm gently. You're seeing it now. That's what matters. Show me, he said suddenly. Show me everything she tried to destroy. I want to understand exactly what you've been working on. For the next hour, I walked him through the research models, the trial results, the potential implications for cancer treatment. His medical background helped him grasp the technical details, but it was his personal investment, the memory of his sister, that made him understand the true importance of the work. Sarah would have loved this, he said finally, staring at the molecular models rotating on my screen. She always said science would find a better way. That's why I couldn't let your mother's actions slide this time, I explained. It's not just about me or my career. It's about all the Sarahs out there, all the daughters and mothers and sisters who deserve better treatment options. My phone buzzed with another email from the Institute. The board wanted to fast-track the next phase of trials based on our results. As I read the message aloud, I saw something shift in Michael's expression. What is it? I asked. I was just thinking about all the times Mom talked about proper wives and family obligations, he said. But what you're doing here, this is the greatest service to family I can imagine. You're literally fighting to keep families together. I leaned against him, feeling the steady strength that had supported me through years of research, trials, and setbacks. We're fighting together. Your surgical insights have been invaluable to understanding how these treatments would work in practice. Partners, he said, kissing the top of my head. Partners, I agreed, thinking how different this was from Patricia's vision of marriage as a hierarchy with wives in subordinate roles. My computer pinged with another backup confirmation, reminding me that while Patricia had tried to destroy my work, she'd only succeeded in proving why it was so important to continue. Sometimes the people who try to tear you down end up giving you the strongest reasons to keep building. Should we celebrate? Michael asked, gesturing at the trial results still displayed on my screen. 82% is amazing. I smiled, already thinking about the next phase of research. Let's celebrate by proving we can make it even better. Because that's what real partners do. They build something meaningful together, regardless of what others try to destroy. 6 months after Patricia's attempted sabotage, I stood at the podium of the International Cancer Research Conference, presenting our breakthrough findings to a packed auditorium. In the front row, Michael beamed with pride, while hundreds of oncologists and researchers listened intently to how our targeting mechanism was revolutionizing cancer treatment. The Phase 2 trials have shown a consistent success rate of 87% in reducing aggressive tumor growth. I explained, clicking through slides of before and after imaging. More importantly, patient recovery times have been cut in half due to minimal impact on surrounding healthy tissue. The questions that followed were thoughtful and enthusiastic. As I addressed each one, I couldn't help but think about Patricia's words. Playing scientist. If she could see this moment, see how our research was already saving lives, would she understand what she tried to destroy? After the presentation, Dr. Zhang approached us, her eyes bright with excitement. Dr. Parker, the Gates Foundation representatives want to meet with you. They're interested in funding a global implementation program. As we discussed the possibilities, I felt a tap on my shoulder. Turning around, I found myself face to face with Linda, Patricia's best friend from the hospital charity committee. Olivia, she said, her voice subdued. I owe you an apology. Patricia told us such different stories about your work, made it sound like a hobby that was destroying your marriage. But this, she gestured at the conference hall, this is extraordinary. Before I could respond, Michael stepped in. My wife's hobby has just revolutionized cancer treatment. Maybe you can mention that at the next charity meeting. Linda had the grace to look embarrassed. Actually, Patricia hasn't been to any meetings lately. Not since, she trailed off. Not since she showed everyone who she really is. I suggested quietly. The past 6 months had transformed more than just our research. Patricia's actions had rippled through her carefully curated social circle, her country club friends, even her church group. The truth about her attempt to destroy life-saving medical research had stripped away her facade of the concerned mother-in-law. Later that evening, Michael and I celebrated in our hotel room with takeout and champagne. To my brilliant wife, he toasted, who not only outsmarted cancer cells but also proved that the best revenge is spectacular success. I clinked my glass against his, to partnerships that matter. My phone buzzed, an email from the hospital board. They wanted to name the new research wing after Sarah, Michael's sister. I showed him the message, watching his eyes fill with tears. She would have loved this, he said softly, not just the research, but seeing you stand up there today, proving everyone wrong. Speaking of proving people wrong, I hesitated, then pulled out an envelope from my briefcase. This came yesterday. Inside was a letter from Patricia. Michael read it aloud. Olivia, I saw your research featured in the medical journal. 87% success rate, all those lives you'll save. I was wrong. So terribly wrong, not just about your work, but about everything. I let my own narrow vision of what a wife and mother should be blind me to the incredible impact you're making. I don't expect forgiveness, but I needed you to know that I understand now. Patricia. Michael set the letter down. Are you going to respond? I thought about it. Maybe. Not today, but someday. When it feels right. You're a better person than she deserved, he said, pulling me close. It's not about being better, I replied. It's about understanding that success doesn't look the same for everyone. My version of being a wife, a doctor, a researcher, it's different from what she imagined, but it's no less valuable. My phone buzzed again, this time with photos from the first patient in our trial, now in complete remission. Her daughter had sent pictures of their first family vacation since the diagnosis, full of smiles and hope and future. This is what matters, I said, showing Michael the photos. This is what your mother almost destroyed. Not just files on a computer, but hope for families like this. We stayed up late into the night, planning the next phase of research, discussing the new research wing, imagining all the possibilities ahead. The backup system that had protected my work from Patricia still ran smoothly in the background, but it represented something different now, not just protection from destruction, but preservation of hope. As I drifted off to sleep, I thought about how sometimes the people who try to tear us down end up being the catalyst for our greatest achievements. Patricia had tried to force me into her mold of a proper wife, but in doing so, she'd only proved why it was so important to be exactly who I was, a researcher, a doctor, a wife who showed love through dedication to saving lives. The next morning, I had one more presentation to give, this time to a group of young female medical students. Looking out at their eager faces, I knew that the story they needed to hear wasn't just about molecular research or cancer treatments. It was about standing firm in your convictions, protecting your work, and proving that success comes in many forms. Because sometimes the best response to someone trying to delete your dreams is to back them up, stand your ground, and show the world exactly what they tried to destroy.